So the government is set to abandon plans to freeze some disability benefits after a backlash from several loyal Labour MPs. Ministers are looking to cut billions of pounds from the welfare budget, but the policy will now likely be scrapped to avoid potentially large rebellion in the House of Commons.
In a significant policy shift, the UK Labour government has unveiled a comprehensive overhaul of the benefits system, aiming to save £5 billion by 2030. This reform introduces pivotal changes to personal independence payment and universal credit, affecting millions nationwide. This narration delves into 5 key changes, their implications, and the diverse reactions they've elicited.
Sure. Well, there was a proposal to to freeze the PIP benefits, the personal independence payments, which is for people of working age who are on benefits, and the idea was that we're going to freeze it and we were going to therefore save a lot of money for the exchequer. And that was being proposed by Liz Kendall, by Rachel Reeves, sounded to be positive about it too. But there is a backlash within the Labour Party, in particular from those more left-wing MPs, the likes of Ed Miliband, the likes of Angela Rayner in Cabinet, but also backbench MPs who are saying, hang on a minute, we don't want to freeze the PIP payments. We want to keep them where they are, and we want to actually increase them because inflation has increased. So it seems that whatever the government want to do, ultimately they are going to be hamstrung by those Labour MPs who want to put a blocker on it.
Personal independence payment is designed to assist individuals with disabilities in covering additional living costs. Under the new reforms, the eligibility criteria for PIP have been tightened. Claimants must now score a minimum of 4 points in at least one daily living activity to qualify for the daily living component of PIP. These activities encompass tasks such as preparing food, managing therapy, and engaging with others face-to-face. This change aims to ensure that support is directed to those with the most significant needs.
We will scrap the WCA in 2028. In future, extra financial support for health conditions in universal credit will be available solely through the PIP assessment. So extra income is based on the impact of someone's health condition or disability, not on their capacity to work, reducing the number of assessments that people have to go through, and a vital step towards de-risking work. We will legislate to rebalance the payments in universal credit from April next year, holding the value of the health top-up fixed in cash terms for existing claimants and reducing it for new claimants, with an additional premium for people with severe lifelong conditions that mean that they will never work, to give them the financial security they deserve.
The Work Capability Assessment, WCA, previously used to determine eligibility for incapacity benefits through universal credit, is set to be abolished by 2028. The government plans to integrate the assessment process into the PIP evaluation, creating a unified health assessment system. This move seeks to reduce the complexity and stress associated with multiple assessments, streamlining the process for claimants.
And alongside this, Mr. Speaker, we will bring in a permanent, above-inflation rise to the standard allowance in universal credit for the first time ever. A £775 annual increase in cash terms by 2029-30, and a decisive step to tackle the perverse incentives in the system. We will also fix the failing system of reassessments. The Conservatives failed to switch reassessments back on after the pandemic, so they're down by more than 2/3, with face-to-face assessments going from 7 in 10 to only 1 in 10. We will turn these reassessments back on at scale and shift the focus back to doing more face-to-face. And we will ensure they are recorded as standard to give confidence to claimants and taxpayers that they're being done properly. And Mr. Speaker, I can also announce, for people on universal credit with the most severe disabilities and health conditions that will never improve, We want to ensure that they are never reassessed to give them the confidence and dignity they deserve.
The reforms introduce a rebalancing of universal credit payment levels to promote work and address existing disincentives. The standard UC allowance will receive an above-inflation increase of £7 per week, raising it to £98 weekly. Conversely, the health element rates of UC will be frozen at £97 per week until 2029/30 for existing claimants, while new claims will see this rate reduced to £50 per week. This adjustment aims to encourage employment among recipients while ensuring support for those with severe lifelong conditions.
They may need money for defence and stuff like that, but I don't see how they've come to the conclusion that you should then go and attack disabled people and the allowances that helps a lot of them get on with their day-to-day life.
What do you make of what's actually been announced in the last hour?
Well, it is largely in line with what we said was going to be in it, except for one thing, and that is that they are not going ahead with freezing the rate of personal independence payments. They will rise with inflation next year, and that actually was something they were going to do. Sources made that very clear to me, but then they saw a backlash from Labour MPs, not just on the left of the party, but across the parties. Plenty of centrist MPs said to me, we are really worried about this. So are they still worried about what Liz Kendall just put out there? The answer is many of them are. Yes, they like the arguments about work incentives. They like the fact that they're increasing the basic rate of universal credit, even if that means a reduction in the higher rate for those judged too unwell to work. But the reality is that there are 1 million people who get personal independence payments. They are not linked to work. They are there to help with the cost of your disability, who are going to lose out. And as one Labour MP just messaged me, do we really think that 1 million people who are on PIP at the moment don't deserve it? There will be a lot of heartbreaking notes in MPs' mailbags.
A notable change is the proposed age restriction on UC health top-ups. The government plans to consult on increasing the minimum age for eligibility for extra UC payments related to health conditions or disabilities that limit work capability. Specifically, individuals under 22 may no longer qualify for these additional payments, a measure intended to encourage younger claimants to engage in employment and training opportunities. To alleviate concerns among disabled individuals about losing benefits if employment attempts are unsuccessful, the government has introduced the Right to Try Work initiative. This policy ensures that attempting to work will not trigger a benefits reassessment, providing claimants with the confidence to explore employment opportunities without fear of financial penalty.
Why are you slashing support for the most vulnerable?
The proposed reforms have sparked a spectrum of reactions. Advocates argue that these changes are necessary to promote employment and ensure the sustainability of the welfare system. However, critics express deep concerns about the potential adverse effects on vulnerable populations. Notably, a group of celebrities, including Sir Stephen Fry and Brian Cox, have condemned the £5 billion cuts to disability benefits, labeling them as shameful and warning that they could push more disabled individuals into poverty and reliance on food banks. Furthermore, comparisons have been drawn to past political missteps, suggesting that these cuts could severely damage the Labour government's reputation. Critics emphasize that while welfare reform is essential, it should not come at the expense of those most in need. The Labour government's benefits overhaul represents a significant shift in the UK's approach to welfare, with substantial changes to PIP and universal credit. While the reforms aim to promote employment and ensure fiscal responsibility, they have ignited a heated debate about the balance between encouraging work and protecting vulnerable populations. As these policies move toward implementation, their real-world impact will be closely scrutinized, shaping the discourse on welfare and social justice in the UK. Video